So we're going to take a look back in time, but first, let's share with you the next phase of what we're going to do here in the documentary. We're going to converge an expose with an opinion editorial. We're going to present you the argument. Is Allen Robinson a Machiavellian? Does Judge Taylor have a conflict of interest overseeing the state of Wisconsin versus Jesse Schworck's case? We're going to inspect parliamentary prejudice towards pro se representation. We're going to look at my request for recording devices for this documentary. This documentary is actually a deposition. This is new evidence. This is a new investigation. The judge was made aware that I was in court with Mr. Schworck to do specifically that, to get his perspective. But not only that, we're also going to bring this forward to you as a workshop for our bootstrap boot camp to get you started as a street field reporter. We want to teach you how to work with us and bring the truth to the surface. So we're going to profile and look at Allen Robinson on the scene as a representative of Normal and the Black Caucus with the Democratic Party and the NAACP and all the organizations he belonged to. You see, he was working for Mike Bloomberg at the time, I believe. So whoever's affiliated with him, if they have any involvement with this case, then it's a conflict of interest. Well, that directly relates to Governor Tony Evers. Governor Tony Evers is a member of the Democratic Party. It's his job as the executive of his quorum, which is the state of Wisconsin, to weed out the Machiavellian behavior, no different than Keith Stroop at the National Organization of Reforming Marijuana Laws. And at the end of this, we're going to profile corruption. How Democrats in the state of Wisconsin have been working through Allen Robinson. And these are the things that they're capable of that you need to know. And what will come out on the other side is a chronological investigation from point A to point B. We're going to go back to August 22nd before the first hearing, and we're just going to take a look at all the facts. And we're going to have a couple future interviews, maybe one, maybe two, with Jesse Schworck yet. And over the course of 12 blogs, we're going to string together for you what's called the news flicks. We're going to take you behind the scenes, the place where the reporters never show you. The truth, the reality of what's going on in the journalism field. And the fact that prejudice exists in all fields. But it's our job as journalists to weed it out, not to condone it, not to tolerate that kind of stuff. So we're going to look at Machiavellian behavior, and we're going to investigate through what's called introspect, fear, what goes on in the mind of the Machiavellian, and loathing, when everything goes down like it did. We're going to find out from Jesse Schworck where he's at in his litigation and figure out what is going down with the raid. And also, there were some other charges that were read in at the last hearing. One thing that the public doesn't know is that the person who illegally took sacrament from the sanctuary came to court, was going to stand up and say, I don't want these charges pressed. I acted in a Machiavellian way. And that what we've found out is that Jesse Schworck could have shot him under the castle law. So why isn't the castle law being looked at right now in contrast to these charges that are being brought against him? And what we want to find is truth and bring you that truth. But most important, we're going to manifest a whole new way of telling the news from behind the scenes with social media, live streaming, video, and independent journalism. Not the stuff that you're being fed right now, but the convergent kind, the kind where we all come together, both viewer and writer and publisher, to create one expose through the form of newspaper op-ed writing, which is also known as a column. The only difference between a column and an op-ed is that in my situation, the journalism expert, I would be writing about my expertise in the field. But I'm the only convergent media trademarked reporter out there, so that puts me at the top of the food chain as far as merit. And we want to figure out, how do we approach the future now with all these things that are going on in his case? Because what ends up happening in a court case, when things get too complex, then it becomes subject to mistrial. So before they even go into jury selection, we're going to find out from Jesse, where exactly are we, and what role did Alan Robinson play in all this? Because he was pulling some strings in all this. Yeah.